Have you ever stopped to think about why your town looks the way it does? Why are there flat areas here, or perhaps a river running nearby? That's physical geography at work. It's the study of all the natural, non-human parts of Earth, the mountains and plains, the oceans and rivers, and the weather. When we study history, physical geography is the fundamental stage. It sets the scene and provides the original rules for how human life can flourish in a given spot. Think of physical geography as the ultimate real estate agent. It decides the initial value of a piece of land by determining what resources are available. If you have a group of people, they will naturally be drawn to places that provide the essentials: fresh water, good soil for farming, and materials for building shelter. Societies that thrive are the ones that learn to either live in harmony with their environment, adapting their lifestyle to the climate, or figure out clever ways to change the environment to suit their needs. Imagine trying to start a big farm. Would you choose a steep, rocky mountain slope or a wide, flat plain? The answer is obvious. Flat plains are perfect for farming, building large cities, and moving goods around easily, which is why they are often crowded. Mountains, on the other hand, separate people. They're great for getting valuable minerals out of the ground or running a ski resort, but they make farming and large-scale settlement much harder. Historically, the world's greatest civilizations all have one thing in common. They started on a river. The Nile in Egypt, the Tigris and Euphrates in Mesopotamia, the Indus in India, these were the lifelines. The rivers provided a constant source of water, and their annual floods deposited a layer of nutrient-rich soil called silt. This made the land incredibly fertile and helped the first farmers feed huge populations, allowing them to settle down and build cities. Climate is more than just the daily temperature. It's the pattern of weather over decades. If you live in a tropical zone, you probably wear light clothes and have houses with open designs to deal with the heat. If you live near the Arctic, you need heavily insulated homes and special warm clothing. The climate essentially writes a major part of the guidebook for how people in that region must live, dress, and build their homes to stay comfortable and safe. The global economy is built on agriculture, and agriculture is completely dependent on climate. For example, you can't grow oranges in a blizzard or wheat in a rainforest. Temperate zones, with their distinct seasons, are perfect for grains like wheat and corn. Tropical zones, with constant heat and rain, are ideal for crops like rice, bananas, and coffee. If the natural rainfall isn't enough, as in many arid regions, societies must then invent and build complex irrigation systems just to survive. The quality of the soil dictates the type of farming a society can rely on. Think about rich, dark river delta soil. That's great for planting many crops. But if the soil is thin and rocky, you might have to graze animals instead of planting fields. In places where the land is steep, like the Andes Mountains, people invented terracing. That's where they carve steps into the side of a hill to create flat patches of land which prevents the soil from washing away. It's a fantastic example of human adaptation. Before modern technology, things like huge mountain ranges, vast deserts, or deep oceans were almost impossible to cross. Think about the Himalayas. These features acted like gigantic walls, physically separating groups of people. When societies are isolated like this, they don't share ideas, languages, or inventions easily. This is why you see such unique, distinct cultures developing in places cut off by tough geography. Just as some geographical features act as walls, others act as roads. Rivers and coastlines have always been the earliest and easiest highways for trade. If you lived on a navigable river, you could easily trade goods with people downstream. Even challenging areas had specific routes. The famous Silk Road was a massive network of trails that followed the easiest mountain passes and desert oases, showing how geography directs the flow of people and goods across continents. Physical geography determines what natural resources are available, and those resources become the foundation of the local economy. If you live near a coastline, chances are your town is involved in fishing, shipping, or perhaps building boats. If you live in a mountain region, you might be a miner, digging for valuable ores and minerals. The environment gives us what it has, and humans build their jobs and entire economies around those gifts. Ancient Egypt is the perfect example of geography creating a civilization. The Nile River was a perfect machine. It flooded on schedule every year, bringing new, fertile soil to the banks. This consistent abundance of food allowed Egyptians to focus on other things, like building pyramids and developing writing. Because the river was easy to navigate, it united the whole society, making communication and governance simple from one end of Egypt to the other. Now let's look at Greece. Unlike Egypt, Greece is very mountainous and has little farmland. Because the land was broken up by ridges, small independent communities naturally formed, which we call city-states. They couldn't rely on farming, so they were forced to look outward. They used the sea for food, trade, and transportation, which turned them into some of history's greatest sailors and naval powers. Take a look at houses around the world, and you'll instantly see geography's influence on architecture. In tropical Asia, where rain is heavy, roofs are steep and pointed to shed water fast. In the hot, dry American Southwest, traditional adobe houses have thick mud walls to keep the inside cool, and flat roofs because they don't get much rain. Architecture isn't just about style. It's a practical, logical adaptation to the physical challenges of the environment. Have you ever noticed that traditional coastal cuisine is almost always full of seafood? That's because it's what's easily available. Culture and diet are deeply linked to the local geography. In places like Italy or California, with their Mediterranean climates, you see lots of grapes, olives, and citrus fruits. But in the colder parts of Northern Europe, their traditional diet is based on hardier foods like potatoes, rye, and preserved meats. The land literally feeds the culture. Living in certain places means dealing with constant natural threats. If you live on a tectonic plate boundary, you have to worry about earthquakes, like the people of Japan. If you live along a coast in the tropics, hurricanes are a part of life. Societies in these high-risk areas have learned to adapt by inventing clever ways to build safe buildings, like making them flexible and developing advanced warning systems. It's a never-ending battle against the forces of nature. Geography can also be a nation's best security guard. Look at a country like Switzerland. Its high, rugged Alps have made it historically difficult to invade, allowing it to remain neutral in many conflicts. Or consider the English Channel, the body of water that separates Great Britain from Europe. That water barrier has historically made it very tough for invaders to successfully conquer the island. The physical map itself can determine a society's history and independence. While geography shapes us, humans also shape geography. We don't just accept a river where it is, we redirect it. Building massive dams, digging canals like the Panama Canal to cut across continents, or constructing intricate irrigation systems, these are all examples of human modification. We use technology to overcome nature's limitations, allowing us to farm in deserts or ship goods across land barriers. The only downside is that these changes often come with big environmental risks. Our ability to overcome geographical challenges has skyrocketed with technology. Think about the massive highways and tunnels we drill straight through mountains. That makes transportation easy where it was once impossible. However, These changes, like cutting down large forests for lumber or farming, have a negative impact. When we modify the land too much, we risk long-term problems like soil erosion or even altering local climate patterns. If you look at a population density map of the world, you'll see clear patterns. Most people are clustered in specific sweet spots, along coasts, on flat plains, or in fertile river valleys. Places with difficult geography, like the Sahara Desert, the Amazon rainforest, or the Arctic, have very few people. The distribution of our entire global population is a direct result of the availability of water, food, and accessible terrain. The relationship between geography and society isn't a story from the past, it's a story about our future. With climate change, the fundamental geography of our planet is shifting. We're seeing rising sea levels and more extreme weather, forcing societies to confront new challenges like water shortages and coastal flooding. The knowledge you gain today about physical geography is essential for future leaders, engineers, and city planners to create resilient, sustainable communities.